Kakadosh Boker Tov, we're just continuing with halachot of Adlakat Nerot and Siman Samech Gimel. We spoke about yesterday the entire concept that Lecha Techila, a woman should pray Mincha before doing Adlakat Nerot, and if she does not, so then she's able to do it after Adlakat Nerot, even though if she does accept upon herself Shabbat, so then she gets into a huge machloket that we brought down the Mishnah Berurah. The Ben Ish Chai says that she would have to pray two arvit, she's not able to pray anymore Mincha, and according to the Halacha Berurah, though, he's saying that Lecha Techila obviously pray before, but if not b'diavad, she could still pray Mincha afterwards. This is to do with a woman. To do with a man, right, for sure there's no problem whatsoever that he's allowed to come and light the candles because he does not accept upon himself Shabbat, and then he would be able to come to the Beit Knesset and pray Mincha. There's no problem for a man, he doesn't. But the question is, what happens right now if a man has the concept of Plaga Mincha, which means that we already spoke in the past that we said the earliest to accept upon yourself is Plaga Mincha. Pelega Mincha, which is going to be an hour and a quarter before. Again, there's two different Plags Minchas as well. But let's say whichever one that we're going by, the difference is usually maximum 15 minutes between them. So we got Plaga Mincha. The man is coming and lighting candles. We said if somebody's going to light the candles by Plaga Mincha, automatically accepts upon himself Shabbat. Why? When it's going to be close to the Shekiah, close to sunset, so therefore we already know that when you're lighting the candles, it's recognizable that you're doing it for Shabbat. And since it's recognizable that you're doing it for Shabbat, you don't need to accept upon yourself Shabbat because you already know that you're lighting candles for Shabbat. But if you're lighting candles so early, which is going to be by Plaga Mincha, now you have a problem. It's not recognizable you're doing it for Shabbat. You're an hour and a half before Shabbat. What Shabbat right now? But rather, you have to accept upon yourself Shabbat. So a man that's going to come and accept upon himself Shabbat with those candle lighting, because he's lighting candles early. So here the Halacha Berurah says that even though Mi'ikar Adin is allowed to say Mincha afterwards, nevertheless, still Lecha Techila, you should pray Mincha beforehand. So you should try to find a minyan, which is going to be, for example, a Mincha Gdula, whatever. You should try to find an early minyan, and therefore he won't have a problem of doing this afterwards. Now, to do with all the other halachot, because again, we're talking about the tzibur. If you remember yesterday, we said that a person goes after the tzibur, but that's only for melacha. That's not for tefillah. So if the majority of the kahal, they accept upon themselves Shabbat, we are obviously going after the majority of the kahal, unless we have another Beit Knesset, which since that Beit Knesset does late, we're allowed to go with that Beit Knesset, which does Shabbat later. However, though, if all the Beit Knesset would do early, automatically we are nigrar, we are going after the majority of the tzibur. But that is to do with melacha, that's not to do with tefillah, which means even though I'm not allowed to do a melacha anymore, because the majority of the tzibur accepted upon themselves Shabbat, but I am allowed to pray mincha. So that's very, very important. Now, Siftet Zayin brings down, what happens if I came to the Beit Knesset and they're close to Kabbalat Shabbat? Which means I come late to the Beit Knesset, and they already pray mincha, they did Shira Shirim, they're right now in the middle of Kabbalat Shabbat. I'm allowed to still start mincha. As long as they didn't start Arvit or accept upon themselves Shabbat, I could still in the same Beit Knesset still pray Mincha. Even though it could be that within my Mincha they will start Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbat, which means they are already accepting upon themselves Shabbat. Since I started Beheter, I'm allowed to continue, which means I'm allowed to come and I can actually pray the Mincha. And even though afterwards they're going to come or in the middle of my Mincha, they say Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbat, which means they accept upon themselves Shabbat, I'm allowed to do that. But once you started Be'eter, you're allowed to continue. So the same halacha would apply in all these things if they also got by Boi Kala, Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbat. Right now, if right now though, they already got there, and I already say it as well, and then all of a sudden I come and I say, 1 second, I come into the Beit Knesset, I'm singing Lechadodi with them, and I forgot, I didn't even say Mincha. Now it's already too late, because once I come and I accept upon myself the Shabbat with the Tzibur, now it's already too late, and therefore I'm not allowed to do Mincha anymore. I would have to do 2 Arvits.